After practicing law, Raymond Berg fought crime.
You have the right to an attorney.
As a hard-boiled detective on wheels.
Ain't it the truth?
His name is Ironside.
Perhaps you wouldn't mind saying it again.
His name is Ironside.
All right, now you've said it.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Hi, I'm John Mallos, and welcome to this live edition of Connect with Me here on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this great Tuesday morning. And today we have a guest from Break the Barriers. She is the founder of Break the Barriers in Clovis. You'll enjoy the conversation. 436 MeTV option 11. Do not wade through the message. And remember, if you call in to ask a question on this day, turn down the sound on your TV set. Back in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
And welcome back to the program. We are live this morning. Of course, yesterday we were on tape for Veterans Day, and what a great day it was yesterday to have those two guests on. So glad to have them. They were in the Veterans Day parade. That's why we couldn't have them live here yesterday in the studio, but we're going to have them back. I'll tell you what, Earl Watson and Rudy Giannone, two great guys, World War II heroes. There's no question about it, and what a great conversation we had yesterday. But today the focal point, the focus is on business here on the showroom floor at Ventura TV. If you want to call in, 436 MeTV option 11. But remember, you have to turn down the sound on your TV set, or else we will not be able to hear you. And today the business is that of Break the Barriers, and it all started a little more than 30 years ago in a very simple setting, in a very modest backyard of a modest home in a modest area here in the city of Fresno. And they had a trampoline, they had a mattress, they had a few other things, they had a few athletes. Let's go to the videotape. I'll show you what Break the Barriers looks like now. That is the front entrance, the sign, of course, out there in Clovis. I'll tell you, my friends, Break the Barriers was officially born in a backyard. That's right. We'll talk about that today with the founder. This was like a training ground, in fact, or like a summer sports camp for all those people who knew that they had some type of athletic ability in their body somewhere. And now, since the place was born, they had a chance to put that on display, albeit a backyard though. But later on, these special athletes became some of the best gymnasts around, and they proved it by winning several gold medals in the Special Olympics. Back in 1985, Break the Barriers was officially born. 2002, they broke ground on their current location. A year later, they moved into that gigantic, huge building just down the street from Clovis West High School. And that's what it looks like right now. I wish I could do that. Live in our studio right now is Deby Hergenrader. She is the founder of Break the Barriers. She is a former gymnast herself who made the Olympic trials back in 1972, and her parents actually were skaters for the Ice Capades at one time. 436 MeTV option 11, turn down the sound. Break the Barriers has been around for more than 30 years. We've got the co-founder as our guest today. It's a great place. Both of my kids went there, and it is a fantastic place for these young athletes who know that they are special in some way, shape, or form. From an athletic standpoint, we all know they're special anyway, but from an athletic standpoint specifically, they want to go out there and show what they got. We're going to show what we've got here with Deby Hergenrader in just a moment.
Now, why don't you tell us the whole story right from the beginning? All right, from the beginning. This is the city, Los Angeles, California. My name's Friday. I carry a badge. Police officers.
You any idea who the other man was?
My partner's Bill Gannon.
Program?
We got just one big question.
Yeah.
When?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
We're quivering over 30 years, 29 years. Who cares? It's been around a long time. Break the Barriers is a great place. Debbie Hergenrader, how are you? Good
I'm
to see
fine,
you.
thank you.
You know, I want to start the program by putting up a picture of your sister, Kathy Mullen. My condolences. She passed away earlier this year. She is the reason you founded Break the Barriers. Explain.
Yeah, she sure is. Well, my parents, they tried to sign us up with a lot of things here in town through recreation, whether it was boating at Roding Park or tennis at Einstein Playground. And it was common to hear, well, we could take the 2 older children, but we don't work with those kind of people. There must be a special place for people like that.
Those kind of people, meaning your sister had Down syndrome,
Down syndrome,
right?
yes, And we thought she'd have a blast. You know, how come, you know, they're not letting her in? She can swim.
They won't let her in.
Yeah, and it's usually a fear. And we try our darnest to, you know, help break that fear just by talking to them about her. But
so
back
you didn't
then,
think it was fair.
Right.
You thought she should be included in the group.
Yeah. Well, my heart would break, you know, because my parents would sign us up for tennis, and we'd play with her afterwards in tennis, but she'd watch us on the bench, you know, doing many things. And so we thought, you know, she needs this opportunity too. And so we would work with her, and we knew there was all kinds of potential and ability there, and she just needed an opportunity.
Yeah. So instead of getting angry, well, I imagine you were a little angry at the time. I mean, you had to be. It's your sister, right?
Well, and the tomboy in me, you know, would rise up, but you know, my mom and dad were great. They said, you know, we can't beat up the world, you know, to teach them, you know, the way things should be. They said we need to be the example. So they set the example for my brother and I. And so at an early age, I was like Kathy's coach and would show her off all the time, you know, things that she learned. And
And so instead of, well, you did get angry a little bit, I guess, and then all of a sudden competitive anger, right?
Yeah.
There is such a thing as
there
competitive anger.
There needed to be change, yes.
Yeah. So you decided to go with Break the Barriers. Where did that idea come from?
Well, actually, my husband was the one that said, are you going to talk about this, you know, our whole married life together? And he said, I could build you a beam. You know, why don't you leave the competitive world? And I was coaching competitive athletes and right in the backyard.
So he was saying at the time you were all talk and no action?
Yeah, exactly. And we thought, okay, let's do this. And so Kathy and her friends that I grew up with too, you know, they were the first students.
Yeah.
And then I was still coaching competitive athletes that still wanted, you know, the routine choreographed by me, and pretty soon it just happened without even planning. You know, the gymnasts were becoming addicted to the joy of working with the Special Olympic athletes. And
so talk about those early days. Like let's say the first day. Do you remember the first day in the backyard?
Probably not the first, maybe the first beginning.
What did you have back there? What did you have in the backyard?
It was crazy. We had a room that we just emptied out. We gutted out. It was a carport that was enclosed over by McLean High School. And we had mirrors and a ballet bar in there. And then the backyard, we had carpeted our lawn. And so it was easier to tumble on and no dirt.
What did the neighbors say?
Well, I think they were fine until the shoes would fly off their feet and land in their backyard. We'd ring the doorbell, you know, lost our tennis shoe over the fence. But we taught all the neighbor kids for free. And so that was kind of the place to come.
But it didn't matter if they had Down syndrome or not. You were teaching them, right? All inclusive.
Well, and the kids, parents were still holding back. You know, there was sisters that came over, and the sister without any physical need at all, and her sister had spina bifida, but she signed up for tumbling and gymnastics. And I asked the parent, how come Nicole's not taking class? And she said, well, she has spina bifida. And I said, well, let's see what she could do.
I'll take this call here real quick. Good morning, you're on Connect with me. How are you? And your question?
My question is, 30 years at it doesn't seem possible it could be 30 years. Does your guest think that the tolerance of adversity, the situation has improved over the years? Do you still encounter resistance to acceptance and tolerance for those special individuals that that make up such an integral part of our community?
Yes, it has improved greatly. And yes, there's still a lot of people that need to learn how to break those barriers and accept more. So, but we've come a long ways. When we go back and we think to where Kathy began, there wasn't even Special Olympics. There was nothing. And now with the inclusion in schools, but it still could be quite a bit better than what it is. And so that is our mission. Is we do a lot of assemblies and to get people to buy into the fact that we all have ability and disability. That's what we have in common.
Right.
And so there shouldn't be a barrier. So we bring people in, and they can see, well, I can't do that, and that person has no legs. You know,
Right.
so we can show and also talk about it, but we could also show the difference.
I want to go to the piece of videotape that our guy Marcus shot here, and let's go to the monitor right there. We're looking at the dance class. In fact, my daughter, you know this, my daughter Angela took this dance class, I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago. So you do a lot more than just gymnastics. This is one of them.
Oh yes, we've got quite a few activities going on. This is dance, and everything in the facility was donated, or materials were contributed by businesses here in town. So everything you're looking into is community built. And so we have the dance and swimming. We have a strong aquatics program. We have a competitive archery program, a competitive taekwondo program where they can lead into the Olympic line of competition. Performing arts. We've got a performing arts stage, and where we teach music and we teach voice.
You have a dance instructor here?
Yeah, we have, well, there's 82 on staff, so we have quite a few instructors. We have 10 department directors, and the teacher right there is our performing arts director of everything that we do on the stage.
And what are the ages range here from what to what?
Well, what you're looking at now is our junior barrier breaker team. They want to be performers like the barrier breakers that you see at the half times. And I think the youngest one is probably 5. And the
I see a little tiny one.
Yeah,
now.
that's Maddie.
She's probably about, what, 3 or 4, maybe 5? I don't know.
You know, our little BBs are mixed in here, too, that I
What are they
believe she's
called?
for. Little BBs, barrier breakers.
Oh, okay.
So you're looking at quite a mixture of abilities and age group. And what's really awesome is all the kids, you'll see the little one in the corner right here, she's got 2 prosthetic legs.
Yeah.
And so you have to look hard to even notice. And true inclusion is when the line between able and disabled is invisible.
So before we go to break, the mission statement for Break the Barriers is not how good you are, how many medals you win, it's being inclusive to everyone, right?
Right.
Wasn't that the whole theory behind it?
Yeah, we wanted to celebrate all levels of victories and achievements, because everybody improves and everybody celebrates with the skill that they accomplish. And so everyone, from the competitive athlete, swimmer, gymnast, dancer, performing artist, there's a place for them in this program. And it's pretty awesome. And they'll be surprised with what the people that they considered as limited, be surprised at what they can do.
All right, we're talking with Debbie Hergenrader. A lot more to talk about in terms of Break the Barriers. She is the founder and the director and the chief cook and bottle washer, I think. She does everything out there. There's no question about it. Anyway, she's hands-on. There's no question. And 436 MeTV option 11. Turn down the sound if you want to call in. Back in a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
And we're back here with Debbie Hergenrader. She is the founder of Break the Barrier, celebrating nearly 30 years now in existence. And it is a business. It's a 501c3, a charitable organization, and it's a non-profit, I should say. Let's put up the disclaimer up on the screen here. Of course, Ventura TV's been around a long time, too, since 1951. That's a long time. So we try to help promote local businesses because we've been successful here for the better part of 60 years at Ventura TV, all thanks to you, the viewers, and the customers. And so, Debbie, speaking of which, 501c3,
yes.
How do you survive financially? Where do you get the money from?
Well, from our community, I'm constantly...
Is it all donations, or is it
donations,
some grants?
Foundations, and grants, yes.
Federal or state?
Federal. We haven't ever gotten a state grant, but but federal grants, and the thing with federal grants, it allows you to expand with new programs, and then when the grant is finished, you've got to scramble to keep those programs going, and that's what's happened. We started a disabled veterans program and had a big tournament and barbecue for the veterans yesterday, and an inner city outreach, and so as we get these grants, we have to continue, and I have to continue talking to Rotary, Lions, Kiwanis, Larks, and
So a lot of your do the majority of your donations or money come from donations, or does it come from the grants?
I would say donations and fundraisers.
Community. Yeah, fundraisers.
Community.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you have big fundraisers.
We have
coming up,
annual
right?
dinners. We have open houses. We just started this open house idea, which is dinner on the move, where they come in to break the barriers, because a lot of our main donors never came in to actually see the programs, and so they've seen the half times, but they haven't seen the programs.
Do you advertise?
Off and on, we're able to pass out flyers through the schools because we have free programs for schools. So that's mainly the way we advertise. And then with the media like yourselves that come on in, we love that.
But you don't pay for advertising usually, do you? For radio, TV, newspaper?
No, we just...
It's word of mouth?
Yeah, word of mouth, and we're usually going to them at somebody's workshop or conference or something, and then inviting them back into the facility.
Has it been tough, difficult to stay in business?
Even
through the tough financial times that we've had, even now, but the last several years.
Well, during that tough time, it did a wonderful thing for us because we started partnering with other nonprofits. And so writing grants together or fundraising together, it expands the program. Just like our inner city outreach, we partner with many of our awesome nonprofits that are doing outreach in our inner city community. And then veterans, we partner with the VA and the DAV and the AMVETS and, all the initials to have the program go. And so together, it's not just us, together we're raising the funds for these programs.
All right, another call here, Debbie. Good morning, you're on Connect with Me. What's your question?
Hi, I had a question for the guest. I had an aunt when I was growing up in the 60s and the early 70s, where she was probably, I would say, in her 40s. And at that time, they did not call it Down syndrome. They called it mental retardation, where she would get frustrated and angry because at that time they did not think that they needed any type of school or social social events or whatever, and I was wondering if this is nationwide that's going on. And I also wanted to make the comment that a lot of times when I take the Clovis buses, there's various people on field trips that a lot of them have Down syndrome, some of them have other issues, but they all seem to be happy all the time, which my aunt wasn't because of because of the way they were treated back then.
Yeah.
And one of the most charming moments was when the Beach Boys came on and started singing a song on the radio, and the whole bus, everybody on the bus, all the kids, started singing along with it, and they knew all the words. They had the rhythm. They had the they were right on key. Yeah, it was really cool.
Great. Well, okay. Do you have a we're running short on time, so.
Okay.
Do you have a quick question?
Well, where the guy said that have things changed, I can tell that things have changed since the time that I was around my aunt.
Yeah.
At that time, they were isolated and not educated, and it was just a bad time to have Down syndrome.
Okay, sorry to cut you short, but we're running kind of short on time. Okay. But I appreciate the phone call. Do you want to comment?
Yeah, sure. We went through that same time with Kathy, and MR, if we remember, you either had cooties or you were an MR, and so that was a bad word.
Were you banned from was she banned from certain places?
She, the swimming lessons, the dance classes, the tennis programs, things like that, not necessarily banned, but
just not inclusive.
Yeah, she became invisible, like they could just kind of ignore and disappear and go the other direction.
Right.
But I believe that's where my parents really, taught us well on that, and now you're right. Back then they were either mentally retarded or mongoloid was what you heard. And,
right. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Another piece of videotape. Let's go to it. I think they're doing cartwheels here. They are. And so when the kids come in here, who signs these people up? The parents mainly, or
Yeah.
And when they come in, do you get the feeling that this place, Break the Barriers, is going to include everyone? Do you have that feeling from your staff, from everybody?
Oh yeah, we have staff workshops quarterly and director meetings, every month, and we talk about, and everybody believes it because once you experience it, we talk about how everybody, I believe my sister is created perfect for the purpose that she's been called for, and she was given many gifts. Music, she loves the Beach Boys too, and sing every word. I don't know about on key, but she sing every word. But
Right.
they all have a gift, and there's many things that we learn from. We might have a emotional disability, spiritual disability, social disability, maybe of anger and forgiveness. And these are the guys that can teach us about loving unconditionally. And so it's a great mixture. It's not just them receiving the benefits. Everybody receives a benefit in this type of environment.
Okay, so quickly before we go to break, did you build this place out of the love for your sister?
Well, not just Kathy. I loved her whole world. I loved singing Beach Boys with them.
Right.
I loved how if you were sad, they'd come up. They'd all give you a hug. You'd be like a sandwich, and they're surrounding you with the bread.
Yeah.
But I love this world. So it was Kathy's world that I fell in love with, and I too became addicted to it.
Okay, we're talking with Kath. I was going to mention your sister because I'm thinking about your sister. We're talking with Debbie Hergenrader. She is the founder of Break the Barriers. 436 MeTV option 11. Back in a moment.
1 Adam 12.
This is Adam 12. It stars Martin Milner as Officer Pete Malloy, Kent McCord as Officer Jim Reed.
1 Adam 12, roger.
This black and white patrol car has an overhead valve V8 engine. It develops 325 horsepower at 4,800 RPMs. It accelerates from 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 120 miles an hour. The automobile has 2 shotgun racks, one attached to the bottom portion of the front seat, one in the vehicle trunk.
You want me to drive?
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Back here with Debbie Hergenrader, and you do offer martial arts.
Yes,
It's
USA.
the Kung Fu variety, right? Let's go to the videotape and
USA
see.
Taekwondo.
Okay. All right. I've been trying to get my son involved in it. He doesn't want to do it, but I bet if he did, he would maybe get addicted because it really is kind of addicting. I wish I could do it.
Yeah, we have a great program under Master Charles Kim, and he has a big heart. He also works with the Police Activities League, the PALS.
What does he teach exactly?
Well, it's USA Taekwondo, so it feeds into the Olympic line, and so we...
So you can get a black belt, right?
Oh, yeah, we've got them. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, and adults too, so parents can take with their kids.
So I can take it too?
You can. You better, if your son's going to take it.
Good morning. You're on with Debbie Hergenrader. Your question quickly. We're running out of time.
Yes, hi. Hi, Debbie. I went to Break the Barriers before, and I offered to volunteer. This is Christy Flouts.
Oh.
And I was wondering, how your program was doing, and if you had any room for people that want to volunteer.
Yes, it's doing great. We're feeling really blessed with entering our 30th year, and we couldn't do without volunteers like you, Christy. And so there's still time to volunteer, with the classes, with the events that we put on, with our dances that we put on.
How many volunteers do you have?
I would say throughout a year, we're connected with the colleges, and so we get, I'd say, 50 a month that come on in.
Now, when you say you're connected to the schools, and I want to go to another piece of videotape, we're going to get out of this one here. We're going to look at the parallel and I believe the uneven bars. Yeah, we're looking at that right now. So how are you connected with the school districts and other colleges, let's say?
We've got influence on 145 schools
In
32 school districts. With their after-school programs, that's another barrier that we face.
So you have like a business relationship with them,
yes,
kind of.
Yes,
Okay.
with every neighborhood partnership, Off the Front, Cornerstone, ROCC, and so all of these programs, kids with special needs were never invited to stay in the after-school campus club or latchkey program, so there's a problem. You have the brother or sister that's staying and the one that's leaving on the bus early, and you have a working parent, and so.
So it's kind of like an after-school program
with
where
inclusion.
they can stay. You're kind of like the babysitter until mom or dad get off work.
Well, we teach the schools how to include into their after-school program. So we'll go and train the after-school program directors or whoever's working with the kids.
I see.
So there's no fear of
So like
including
a
them.
campus club or a campus connection type thing.
And then we
see.
have a buddy program where about 600 to 800 children are partnered with a buddy from their schools, and they come during the school day twice a month. And even though there's inclusion in school campuses, many times they're stuck in that bungalow at the end of the campus. And so this helps have the inclusion happen.
Yeah.
At Break the Barriers, they become friends, and then they go back to school, and they're still friends.
I'm going to roll another piece of videotape, and I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Can you still do this?
I could do that.
You can?
Yeah.
Well, how about, let's see,
still,
what's going to happen here? Can you do like rollovers and flips and all that?
I can. I have two.
You can still do that?
I have
really?
2 total knee replacements, so I can do
You can
things
still do
that
the
aren't going
rings,
to
huh?
pound. Well, the rings is a men's event, but I could still.
Oh, it is. Okay.
But it's not going to hurt my knees, so I could still do things on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what events can you do that you did,
well,
5
I
or 6
still
years ago?
choreograph quite a bit for the team, so a lot of the dancing and the choreography that you
floor
see.
stuff, the
all the floor
exercises,
things, and things that don't hurt my knees, like the trampoline.
Yeah, look at this. Oh man, that looks. You got to be young, and you have to be flexible. Your body's got to be fluid and flexible to do this kind of stuff.
Well, actually, we work with all abilities, so you don't have to.
Well, I know, but when you're younger, it's easier to do it. So how do you?
Oh yeah,
so
there's no fear then.
No, there absolutely not. Now you can leap off buildings at that age, no problem.
Right.
But when you teach an older person how to do it, like let's say a vet, he's not going to be doing that. But how do you teach them to overcome that fear? Well,
we have so many things to offer them that we find out what they like. We don't find out what their limitations are. We say, what do you want to do? And like for our disabled veterans, is it archery? Is it swimming? Is it judo? Is it powerlifting? What is it? And then we just plug them in. We have a blind archer that shoots archery. We have...
we do have some archery video. I don't know if we can show that. We've got archery right here. Go ahead and talk about it. Yes, and one of our veterans, Martha, just came back from Bangkok, and USA got a silver medal as far as team. And at the far end, Larry's, we have one, you can't see him that well, but he shoots with his mouth because he's limited on his left side. And then where you see that camera tripod, that's actually for a person who's blind, and he'll put the back of his hand against that pin that's sticking out on top. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there he is. That's his hand right there in the upper left corner. And he's vision impaired, and so he uses that to put his hand against.
So is this an actual competition here?
This is practice. They're training. Yeah, training for competition. And we have all different ages. We have World War II veterans, Korean War, Persian Gulf. Iraq, yes.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, and it's free for the veterans.
That's a great program.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah. Now, aside from this, you also teach music. You have music lessons.
Yes, we do.
And we have video of that too. And talk a little bit about that program as well, Debbie.
Yes, we teach guitar and violin and keyboard and saxophone. We teach voice.
Trumpet?
Yeah, we've had trumpet. Oh. Yeah. We've got some really good, talented instructors. And
amazing.
That's Dan Harris, who's there with Paige, and he's our music director.
So you've grown, you've expanded.
Yeah.
From starting with a little gymnastics idea in your backyard to this whole, gigantic building that offers so many services to so many people.
Yeah, because not everybody wants to go upside down, and many are artistic. Or very competitive, or they're outdoorsmen or women,
Is it not politically correct to call them disabled in this day and age?
We don't. We say
what do you call them?
We say various abilities because I'm disabled. The more you get to know me, you'll know where like this scares me to death. What I'm doing with you today, the interview.
You're doing great.
but there needs to be a voice for this, and so we call it various abilities. And
how many of the people that go to Break the Barriers have challenges?
Well, when we write grants, that's when we need to break it down. So there's probably like 35% that actually have a diagnosis or
with some kind of a
with
challenge.
some kind of a challenge,
whether
yeah.
it's mental or physical.
Right.
Yeah. And so
Right.
you have to, do you have to have a certain percentage to qualify?
Yeah, well, we're going in as an inclusive program, so right from the get-go, we're even trying to educate the people that we're writing grants to.
I want to put up 2 more graphics, full screens of your sister, Kathy Mullen, passed away earlier
There
this year.
she
What
is.
month?
In July.
In July.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's her. Well, all barriers can be broken. There's no question about it. Let's go back to
Yeah.
the picture, though. That's her as a baby, right?
That's her as a baby, and when Kathy turned 2, that's about the age that my parents found out that she back then was mongoloid. They didn't have the amnios back then. You know, she was 2 years old.
Yeah. Debbie, it's so nice to see you.
Thank
Tell
you.
your husband Steve
I will.
hello.
I will.
And it's always good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thank you so
And
much.
Continued success. Anything we can do to help you out, let us know.
Well, you just did. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Debbie Hergenrader, she is the founder of that great place out there in Clovis called Break the Barriers. Go check it out. It's just down the street from Clovis West High School. That's going to do it for us. Back with another edition tomorrow of Connect with Me. We're going to be talking with the head of the food bank here in Fresno. See you then.